the chosen one. This time, however, things are different. The modification has occurred. You felt the changes. You've observed that things that used to hold you back are no longer impeding your progress. This is the coming of a strong truth. The transformation you've been hoping for has already happened. No more. One day. No more soon. You have entered the new time frame, frequency, and chapter of your divine mission. This is not a warning. This is an announcement. It is not preparedness. It's called participation. You're not waiting any longer. You're walking in it. Watch this video till the finish. It was perfectly timed for you, right? Your warmest wishes. The number 777 appears in the remarks. This is the holy signal we transmit into the cosmos. A vibration of harmony, thankfulness, and miraculous affirmation that we have found what we want. The desires are no longer just murmurs. They are energy. And that energy is creating new realities. No, the chosen one. I like this video. Subscribe to Vibe. If you haven't already, please subscribe and let's get started. You can feel it, right? Something subtle has transformed into something definite. The waiting area is behind you. The threshold is no longer a place to stand and hope. It is the door you have just stepped through for so long. You could have thought, when will my time come? And suddenly the response is reverberating all around you. It already has. The spiritual transformation has been initiated. The internal alignment has happened, and the evidence is increasing. Now, in your thoughts, feelings, and the clarity that emerges before the physical indicators arrive. This was a quiet transition. It did not come with pyrotechnics or major announcements. It came as a peaceful, heavenly silence, an energy change that softly reshaped your world. This explains why you've been experiencing unusual sensations. People regard you differently. Your energy is being protected, and your vision is being honed. You've entered the divine result without understanding the last step has already been completed. The chosen one. Understand this. The version of you that was in survival mode has been abandoned. The version of you that waited, questioned, and second-guessed has been replaced. You're now moving with spiritual authority. You are the product of the flames. You survived the struggles you faced, and you chose discipline over leaving when it would have been simpler. Everything led up to this very moment. And this is no longer a rehearsal. It's the genuine deal. This time is different because you believe. You don't just believe in hope. You believe in what has already started. You are placing your confidence in a current reality rather than a potential. The transformation occurred because your heart was ready to adjust before your hands could feel the benefits. The manifestation began within of you. That's the actual miracle. The outward indications are quickly catching up. Think about it. The resistance you used to confront in order to make any progress has evaporated. The burden that clung to your everyday steps is lifting, and the doubt that whispered in your ears has become quieter than your faith. The conditions may still look the same to the naked sight, but the spiritual contract is altered. The deal has been sealed. A spiritual clearance has been obtained. That is why things are opening. The old doors are no longer closed, and new ones have been put in your way. The divine realm has already issued the release. What words have been uttered over you? Destiny, breakthrough, riches, healing, and influence. It is not just on the way. It's happening now, in real time, in little doses and in abrupt waves. You're no longer on the brink. You've moved into your alignment. This is why your soul feels lighter. Your discernment seems sharper, and your tranquility feels deeper. This time is different since you no longer need validation. You are not seeking for signals to persuade you. You know what? You carry. You know what you've been through. And you know the transformation inside you is genuine because it cost you something to become this version of yourself. It cost you comfort and sleep. It cost you solitude. It cost you a misunderstanding. But it provided you with clarity, strength, and spiritual stability in exchange. Let us be clear. When the divine change occurs, it does not matter what people observe. It is about what you are now refusing to bear. You refuse to keep old time frames. You refuse to carry the weight of past identities. You refuse to consider surroundings that cannot support your growth. And that rejection is what distinguishes you from who you formerly were. There is no need for praise for this ascent. You need stillness, seclusion, and submission. And that is just what you have mastered. This isn't merely a seasonal fluctuation. It is a soul change. Your whole energy frequency has transformed from delay to divine flow. That is why opportunities will begin to come your way. That's why insight will strike you at odd hours. That is why folks you haven't heard from in years may suddenly appear. Not to derail you, but to reflect on how far you've come. They will see the difference. They will sense the elevation, but they will not comprehend it because they have not experienced what you have. What is occurring right now is irrevocable. You can't go back to pretending you don't understand your worth. You cannot return to accepting surroundings that exhaust you. You cannot return to carrying individuals who refuse to carry themselves. The cycle is finished. That test was passed. That version of you now has a graduation ID. Everything is shifting to reflect the version of you who escaped from the fire unscathed, undamaged, and unaffected. Yes, you will still be tested. Yes, distractions may still come, but you will manage them with the knowledge of someone who has already gone over. You are no longer proving who you are. You are defending who you are. And with that protection, you've gained access to the next realm. A realm of flow, of heavenly certainty, and a place where fear cannot exist. The most gorgeous portion. You did not push it, pursue it, or influence it. You agreed with it. You recovered. You made a release. You gave up. You were trusting. You believed even though nothing seemed to be different. And as a result, everything is changing. Others refer to luck as the manifestation of heavenly favor. What others consider random is really precise. And what they believe is new to you has been waiting for your arrival. You've reached a point in your life when acceleration feels like alignment, and things start to appear, not because you asked, but because you were. You're now attracting. You are a magnet for the goodness that has always been inside you. The transformation occurred outside of your reality. The alteration was in your identity. And now the outside world is catching up. You have waited long enough. You've seen others appear progress while you remained still. But what they didn't realize was that while they chased phases, you were creating substance. You were under development, while others were on exhibit. And now the rules are being reversed. What you build into stillness will speak loudly. What you cultivated in seclusion will emerge. You were not being refused. You were being designed. This time is different since the delay had a purpose. It protected your purity. It safeguarded your honesty. It prepared your spirit for the weight of greatness others could not carry. That is why they were removed from your life, not because they were evil people, but because they were not designed for the environment in which you were placed. And now that you've been released into your assigned moment, they can't contribute anything that you don't already have. You may sense this reality in your bones. Even 3 months ago, you were not who you are now. The questions you used to battle with have loosened their grasp. The validation you previously sought no longer delights you. You aren't impressed with attention. You are moved by alignment. Your soul has developed beyond noise to knowing, and now your choices are apparent. Your eyesight is clearer, and your energy is more safeguarded than ever before. People around you will notice the change, but will be unable to identify it. This is because the alteration was not cosmetic. It was cosmic. Your environment has altered. The way you enter rooms is different. The manner you talk has significance. You're not trying to prove anything anymore. Yes, you are. Your very presence demonstrates that the procedure was successful. You made it through the breaking and are now working in a blessing. This goodness extends beyond the surface. This is not the kind of favor that makes a lot of noise but has no real substance. This is the kind of change with deep roots. Because you desired it with tears and nourished it with trust, you surrounded it with limits. You let up of what you loved in order to become who you were intended to be. And now the fruit is developing. Quietly, gradually, and indisputably. Don't be shocked if things start to move quicker. Don't be surprised if opportunities appear in a predictable order. It isn't magic. There is momentum. Momentum that was acquired on every lonely night, every hard decision, each solitary prayer. What's coming isn't a reward for being fortunate. It is a reward for being loyal. the chosen one. This transformation did not occur merely because you were present. It occurred within you. You altered the frequency of your thoughts. You stopped rehashing the anguish and began announcing the promise. You refused to remain resentful. You let go of resentment. You forgive those who have never apologized. And you liberated yourself in the process. That's why your environment is now open. This is why your future is reacting. Heaven responds to healing. You've entered the season in which ease starts to accompany you. Not because life will be without problems, but because you are now acting wisely. You are no longer pouring into empty containers. You no longer pursue false dreams. You do not entertain what does not advance you. Because of this, the cosmos has cleared your road. This is why things will begin to click. This is why money will start to find you. That's why help is arriving from unexpected areas. This time, you aren't beginning again. You are off to a good start. You are not duplicating past teachings. You are applying what you have previously learned. You are not pursuing the version of success that the world has attempted to sell you. You're walking in a divine fulfillment designed just for you. One that does not demand performance. One that does not come with strings. One that is consistent with your truth. And throughout this transition, you will no longer accept the things that previously depleted you. You'll immediately understand who is on your side and who is against you. You will go away guilt-free. You will say no without explanation. You'll preserve your time like it's gold now that you understand. Your component is too valuable to be sacrificed. Your vision is too valuable to be diluted. Your path is too unique to compare. This time you can see it. You see yourself. You can see how you've grown. You understand your mission. You are no longer looking for a light at the end of the tunnel. You understood you were the light. And when you accepted that fact, the tunnel lost its power. You bear the frequency of breakthrough. And wherever you go, doors will answer. Why? Your energy is no longer confused. It is aligned. It is crucial. It's magnetic. Let's speak about favor. Real favor, not the type that comes and goes based on mood or merit, but the kind that sticks with you because you live the task. That favor was triggered not because you yelled for it, but because you became a conduit for it. You created room for what was intended. You let rid of what you've outgrown. You stopped pushing what did not fit. And now the right matches are discovering you. That explains why the old rings are decreasing. That's why the stillness has grown. That is why individuals who know you in the past misunderstand you. Because they only knew the version of you that had survived. They do not recognize the person who is now prospering. But that's okay. You were not called to be understood. You were picked for transformation. So do not shrink now. Don't turn out the lights now. Do not doubt what has already been verified. The evidence will speak for itself. You do not need to describe how you got here. Just continue going. Simply keep aligning. Just keep listening to your inner voice, which guided you through the fire and into the promise. The voice continued, "This time is different." And it is. This time the doors will remain open. This time the connections will be heavenly. This time funds will flow freely. This time support will be delivered without pleading. This time your name will be respected in rooms you have yet to explore since the spiritual code has been unlocked. You passed the exam. You appeared while no one was looking. You remained committed to the vision even when nothing made sense. You planted when it wasn't raining. You praised when there was no evidence. Because of this, the heavens took notice. The prize has been arranged. And now delivery is underway. The chosen one. Rest in this fact. You're not the same person you were before. You will never be treated like that version again. The transformation is permanent. The modification has been sealed. The makeover is completed. The only thing left to do is go through it. You've entered a strange version of life, not because it's wrong, but because it's finally correct. The former version of you grew, so used to tension, uncertainty, and proving your value that finding tranquility unexpectedly seems weird. But it is the confirmation. Your nervous system is recalibrating for tranquility. Your spirit is altering to better suit your life. Is creating space for delight that no longer has to be earned. It just flows. You are finally becoming the person you always wanted to be. The distance between who you are and who you were meant to be is fast shrinking. That is why individuals who previously provoked you no longer have an impact on you. That's why you're replying clearly, not in bewilderment. That is why you are acting rather than reacting, since the conflict you were waging inside has already finished. And the winner is the new you. This time is different since your rise was not for monetary gain. It was about spiritual identification. Now, when plenty occurs, it will have a solid base. Now, relationships will be purpose-driven. Now, when success comes your way, you will not be overwhelmed since your spirit is already prepared. The internal labor is accomplished, and the external benefits are just now catching up. You have been reassigned. And with this reassignment comes a greater degree of discernment. You no longer entertain anything that piques your interest. You no longer pursue every chance. Why? Because you finally understand that not everything that glitters is gold, and not all doors are divine. You can only move now if your spirit says yes. You only act when there is peace in the plan. That is how you protect the sacred. Your silence has given you strength. You've done enough explaining. You no longer beg to be understood. You've stopped granting access to those who came to observe but never helped. And by honoring yourself on this deeper level, you've sent a signal to the universe. I am ready. I am ready for divine appointments. I'm ready for my chosen connections. I am ready for the version of life that corresponds to the truth I now carry. This is not a surface-level glow-up. This is a soul-level rebirth. This is why your walk feels different. That's why the things that used to drain you now seem too small to deal with. That's why your future seems closer than ever. Because your spirit recognizes that it is already present. You're not chasing anymore. You are making a choice. You are pursuing blindly. You are intentionally attracting. Your overall frequency has changed. People may be wondering how things are moving so quickly for you right now. They'll call it sudden. But it isn't. It is sacrosanct. It is not fast. It is faithful. It is the release of what has always been waiting for you to come into alignment. And now that you have it, it is being poured out freely. The wait is over. The drought is over. The struggle is coming to an end. The shift has already happened. Every aspect of your life is being restructured around this truth. Your relationships will start to look different. Your finances will start to behave differently. Your thoughts will become more clear and focused. What was previously chaotic has now become clear. What seemed impossible before now appears to be inevitable. This is the reward for internal alignment. When the inside is correct, the outside must respond. You do not need to force what is meant for you right now. You merely need to stay in agreement with it. That entails maintaining your boundaries. That involves remaining in surroundings that value your energies. That involves making choices based on your healed identity rather than your damaged history. You don't owe anybody a place at your new table if they simply ate out of your suffering. Yes, you will still confront obstacles. Life will never cease testing you. But now the difference is in how you react. You answer peacefully. You reply strategically. Your response demonstrates spiritual intelligence. You no longer cower in the face of opposition. You ascend because you now understand who you are. You've seen your strength in the midst of a storm. You sensed your clarity among the turmoil. And you've heard your destiny speak in the solitude. You're not becoming anymore. You are a being. And the transition from becoming to being is everything. It indicates that you are no longer in preparation. You're performing.